Hello everyone, welcome to another show. If you enjoy marketing, if you enjoy business, this is the channel for you. So I want to encourage you to consider subscribing for more content like this. In studio I have Thomas.
Hi, I'm Thomas.
Thomas is our senior Google Ads specialist here at VA Media, and in today's show we want to unpack the core metrics you should be tracking if you are looking for leads. So if you are in the lead generation business, so if you're consumer facing leads or B2B leads, doesn't really matter. You might be a beauty business looking to track leads through Google Ads, or you might be a law firm, you might be an insurance company trying to get other businesses on board, doesn't really matter. If you are looking for leads, then these are the core metrics you should be looking at when it comes to your Google Ads. And Tom, in a previous video or episode, we really discussed why conversion tracking is so important. And I think if someone is watching this today and you don't have conversion tracking set up properly, then what we're about to say will just be a moot point. Like, it won't really add any value. So it's really crucial to make sure that you have your conversion tracking set up. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can check out episode that might maybe popping up here somewhere. So Tom, let's dive in, shall we? In terms of tracking metrics when it comes to Google Ads for a business that wants leads specifically, what metrics do we focus on when it comes to, I would say, the optimization of our campaigns and so forth? What metrics are really crucial to monitor in order to indicate whether we're actually doing a decent job or not?
All right. So with any advertising platform, there's going to be tons of metrics to be looking at. The main metrics we'll be looking at, because on these platforms you can track. There's so many things you can look at. Impressions,
clicks, CPCs.
Yeah.
Auction percentage, bidding, I don't know.
Impression share.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute top impression. There's so many things. But you as a business owner, we're looking at the number of leads that you're getting. Okay, what's the volume of leads? All right. We're looking at how much are you spending? What's the cost? How much do you spend to get all those leads? Of course, between those, when you use those two together, what do you get? The cost per lead, or acquisition, and so forth. Right. Those are the main top three that we look at. Now, of course,
it's almost like the metrics that we are able to track with Google Ads that gets us closest to the business growing.
Exactly.
Really, because you can't really get any further than that unless you have some custom tracking and some proprietary, I would say, systems in place that will allow you to better understand how much does it cost you to actually get a client. Because ideally you want to get as granular as possible by ideally identifying how much is it costing you to get a new client for the business or a new customer for the business so that you can keep growing. But if you're generating leads, there's almost like a dark hole after someone has submitted their details. And that dark hole is, now there's a sales process, the sales team is speaking to them, they're not replying their mails or their WhatsApps. And
marketing meets sales.
Exactly. And at the same time, the sales process might be long, like 4 to 6 weeks. So can you really attribute that to Google Ads? Because the attribution window is not that long. So there's all these complicated conversations that happen. So what you're saying is the best metrics to track that is available on the platform, regardless of what you do in the lead generation space, is how much are you spending, how many leads do you generate, what is the cost per lead?
Correct.
And is there anything else that we look at from almost like a bottom line perspective?
Yeah, so those are the main ones. And of course, everyone's familiar with how many clicks are we getting. That's when people think about these metrics, they're mainly thinking about clicks, the cost per click, the click-through rate, which is out of 100 people, how many people actually clicked to go to your website. Now, there's a different context for looking at different metrics. And that's how you're able to diagnose problems and form optimizations and so forth. So for example, if we look at impressions, that's just, and by the way, impressions is the number of people who actually are served your ad. So if you have a Google search campaign and you have maybe, let's say for a law firm as an example, you got 1,000 people in a month searching for law firms, right? And that's how many times your ad appeared in front of people searching for that. You got 1,000 impressions then, right? Well, for the times the ad actually showed. So different metrics will look at it in different ways. So an impression will tell us, okay, our ad was served this many times, and maybe compared to before, is it higher? Is it lower? What's happening? Are there more people advertising? Are there more competitors? Is it a seasonality thing? Did we just get into the cold season? There's different things that we look at, and next thing we can look at is click-through rates. Are we getting the same number of impressions, but the ratio of people who are clicking are lower? What's the reason? Is it something with our offer? Is it something with the ads? That's how we can use them to diagnose them. But all of these other metrics that we look at is towards the true north. So it's like, wait, conversions are low, but why?
It's almost data that's available that can help you paint a better story if things don't go the way that you want it to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, we want to know, what is it costing us to get a lead? How many leads do we generate? And we can get to, is it possible to track cost of a client or a customer, etc., and then ROAS for lead gen, which is a very difficult metric to track because it's not like someone is checking out on an online store and that amount of revenue that was just made gets recorded and gets sent back to Google. That doesn't happen. So there are ways to get very granular with the actual ad spend and how it's impacting the business, and we can get to that in a second. But what you're alluding to right now is saying, look, the bottom line metrics are cost per lead, the total amount of leads that we've generated for the business. You can get feedback from the client on how many of them were good quality and bad quality, and then you can potentially go, well, this is the money that we spent on good quality leads, this is the money that we spent on bad quality leads. So you can start getting creative with your imagination on how you really want to dissect that post lead gen process. But what you're saying is like the basic metrics that everybody tracks: impressions, clicks, CTRs, all of those things that you like to see on a beautiful design PDF report at the end of the month. Like all the warm and fuzzy metrics, like the metrics that makes you feel, you had 1 million impressions this month. Oh wow,
feels good.
1 million people saw text. That's got maybe something to do with my brand. It's not even a logo because it might not be display ads, and hopefully it's not, depending on obviously the type of business that you are. So there's all these fluffy metrics that makes people feel good, like cost per click. Oh, you've got a 1 rand cost per click. Okay, but how many leads did I get? You've got 1,000 clicks to the site. Okay, but how many people actually inquired who want to work with me, who are good quality? I think there is a difference between the fluffy metrics and the bottom line metrics. So the bottom line metrics are, listen, how many leads did you get? What was the cost per each lead? And how qualified were those leads? And then the fluffy metrics, even though they're fluffy, they can still help a lot.
They do.
And the thing is, like, they shouldn't be overestimated, but that shouldn't be what you're making business decisions on. The business decisions.
To that.
The business decisions should be made on the bottom line metrics. And if the bottom line metrics are not checking out, you can use the fluffy metrics to paint a story in order to understand how to actually go about improving the bottom line metrics.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go into a doctor. It's like, oh, my tummy's sore. Like, great, but we're going to check your temperature, we're going to check your heart rate, we're going to check your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So those are like the impressions, the click-through rate and so forth, in order to diagnose problems, but also to help improve like the account, the performance of the account, because it's not about just getting the leads and finding out what the cost per conversion is, but we want to get you more leads and try to get you a lower cost per conversion, cost per lead, so that at the end, if you, let's say you're spending like 5,000 Rand, to invest in these ads. Let's say you're getting 5 leads. Now it's going to be a cost per lead of 1,000 Rand. But if you get like double the amount of leads with the same amount, now it's 500 Rand. But we also liaise with you, with the client, like, hey, are these leads, are these people actually converting into customers? What are they saying, and so forth? And if they are, great, we're going to keep going in that direction. It's like, let's try to get them a lower cost per lead, because with that same budget, you get even more. So that's the idea. That's the game we're playing in terms of using these Google ads.
No, cool, man. And I think the last part of this conversation is, what can we do? What can a client do? What can a business owner do in order to track more granular metrics? Because the cost per lead is great, but now the question is, how do we actually start to better understand whether the business is moving forward because of the Google ads or not? Because I can get 1,000 leads, but how many of them actually converted, and what was the cost of that conversion? And what advice would you have for anybody listening on how to actually start tracking those metrics?
All right. So, of course, you're going to have your conversion tracking in place, and that's that's looking at what's happening inside Google Ads. But as you mentioned just now, the leads are going inside your business. The marketing generates a lead, and after that, the salesman takes over. He needs to contact the lead, qualify them, are they the right lead, and convert. Now, the thing is, let's say our conversion tracking is for forms filled in a website, and let's say on that site in a month, on Google Ads says that there was like 40 leads that are filled in, but at the end of the month there are 80 leads. So Google attributes 40 leads, and those other 40 leads from the total could come from anywhere. It come from Facebook, someone searching for the site directly, it could be a referral, it can come from email and so forth. And this is where it's important to have something like in the back end to track what's happening to these leads afterwards. Where are they in the pipeline?
CRM.
And that's where the CRM comes in. You know, your customer relationship management tool, whatever you're using, whether it's HubSpot or whatever.
Salesforce. High level.
So you're tracking these conversions, and you want to find out, okay, how many came from Google directly? On Google, you're going to see, okay, 40 leads came from Google Ads. Now, there's ways that you can use these CRM systems to get more explicit like connection between, okay, who's a specific person? What's their name? You know, what's their name, surname, email address, cell phone number? Who, on what time did they come in and become a lead? And that's a great thing, because let's say you create a landing page, which is basically a site just focuses on just one message, like, hey, you're a law firm, I want to focus on injury law. This is just one page focusing on that. Someone fills in that form and they become a lead. Now, if they drop their name, their last name, their cell phone number in that form, it goes directly into the CRM and it'll tag it to Google Ads or Facebook Ads, or wherever you tracked it. And the great thing about that is, because the normal case is that you're driving all this traffic to the site and you fill in the form and you can see how many leads came from the platform. But with the CRM, so on one hand, you can get an idea, okay, great, I've got all these leads in just one big bucket. But the great thing about the CRM is that instead of just a bucket, you segment it, okay, you got bucket A, bucket B, bucket C. Okay, these people, have I spoken to them? Yes or no? Cool. Move them into the next stage of this, the journey. And in terms of, because you mentioned earlier on, it's kind of challenging to get it's more direct in e-commerce to get the ROAS, the ROI from your spend, the return on ad spend. But to do that for lead generation, is that in the CRM, you find out, hey, how many people that came into the system actually became paid customers, and how much what was their quote value? You know, it was a 10,000 Rand there, 5,000 there, 1,000 there. You add that up and you can see, okay, what was the revenue and how much should we spend in the ads to generate that revenue? And that's the way you can get an idea of the ROAS. And I mean, in some businesses, it's a once-off sale, but if you're a business that has
like a beauty business, people come back on a monthly basis. Like 30 to 40% of people can come back,
Yeah, so it might have cost you 1,000 Rand to get 2,000 Rand worth of a purchase, but that person purchases again for another 2,000 or 500, etc. And the ROI from that gets higher. But
yeah, so just to tie in what you're saying is basically, if you want to get more granular and get data like cost per actual customer or cost per client, which is not something you can see on the Google dashboard necessarily, then you are hopefully using a CRM that can help you filter these leads and put them in certain stages so that you can keep track of where they are in the buying journey when it comes to your business. And from what I'm hearing you say is that you can just tag the people coming through that specific landing page and put them straight into the CRM as a Google lead, and you'll have one for Facebook and have one for TikTok or whatever it may be. So at the end of the month you can go, hey, we spent $5,000 on Google, we spent $5,000 on Facebook, we spent $5,000 on TikTok. TikTok gave us 20 leads, Meta gave us 40 leads, Google gave us 60 leads, for example. Now you can start to dissect that and go, hold on, if we want to generate more leads, we can put our money into Google Ads. But that doesn't mean you're going to generate more business, because maybe the Google Ads leads are not that great quality. Well, in theory, Google Ads should have the best quality, right?
Yeah.
But then it's a matter of asking yourself, did the Google Ads leads actually convert into customers or sales? And if you're using the CRM, you can move that person's file, if you will, that card, we call it, into the one column. You can see now at the end of the month, how many one customers and clients do we have? And then you can see, hold on, we got 15 new clients. Oh, hold on, I can now see 7 of them came from Google. So 7 came from Google, which means 8 came from the other 2 platforms, which is almost 50% of all the leads that we generated. All the customers that we got came from Google. So why not spend more money on Google so we can continue growing this business strategically? And I think that just from a metric tracking standpoint and a business optimization standpoint, this is where you can make really deep business decisions that can go, hey, let's spend more money on this. So that, because we can now know officially this works. It's not just a hypothesis of some sort. It's not just theory.
Yeah.
We have tangible data that's proving that Google Ads is actually generating more clients and customers for our business. And I think a handful of people, a very small percentage of businesses really track the entire process. So they get excited about the leads, but after that,
conversion rate is amazing.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Anything else worth adding, or is that it for today?
Yeah, make sure you have conversion tracking sorted. That's what I like to add. And then when you're looking at the data, yes, you can look at your clicks, your click-through rates, conversion rates, impressions, cost per views and so forth. But always keep in mind, how is this relevant to my end goal as a business owner, for my end metrics? How much am I spending to get how many leads, and how much does it cost me to get these leads? And then it's important to have some kind of CRM in the back end, and because you're going to be able to tell, okay, I'm getting leads over here, but how can you connect that to the actual sales? Because that's what you're doing this in the end for. You want to get sales.
100%.
And yeah, that's it.
Appreciate that, man. That was a lovely conversation. I enjoy geeking out on these things with you. For those of you watching, I hope there was some value in it for you. If there was, I want to ask you to consider subscribing for more content like this. Much love to you all. See you guys next time. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.